listening to Under the Umbrella podcast. Each week, we'll discuss various topics under the umbrella of the LGBTQ community. And I'm your host, Angel. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Under the Umbrella podcast. I am your host, Angel, and on today's episode, my guest will be Kamina Ballard, and we will be discussing the LGBTQ community in healthcare. Kamina Ballard is the Sexual Health Education Coordinator with Planned Parenthood of the St. Louis region in Southwest Missouri. Kamina has over 20 years of experience of testing, educating, and outreaching to diverse communities. Her work is on the front line as an HIV, AIDS, STD, and Hep C activist, a facilitator of various interventions, and workshops that empower high-risk minority populations and HIV plus women, youth, and men. She also works as a disease investigation specialist to help combat the spread of HIV, AIDS, and STDs, and to help to address issues surrounding barriers to service and resources related to sexual health. Kamina has also served as a mentor and volunteers on several community groups and educational faith-based advisory boards. Her vision is to make sure that she creates a community of change by increasing awareness, promote testing, and communicate important health messages for women of color and their male partners. Let's get to it, guys. Hey, Kamina, welcome to another episode of Under the Umbrella podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
The technology is always interesting.
You're fine because it's happening to everybody. Okay, this is a new normal we in, so technology is not everybody's friend.
Thank you. I know we're crunched for time, so I just want to get straight to our talking points. And the first question I have for you is, if you would please tell us about the services Planned Parenthood provides.
So I'm going to go off my little cheat sheet I hear.
Please do. I have one too.
But you can find more at plannedparenthood.org. Birth control, STD testing, emergency contraception, annual exams, pap smears, HIV testing, breast exam, HPV vaccines, vasectomy. So it's not just for women. Men can come too. And of course, abortion services. We offer a lot. We offer telehealth now as well too. So
what's telehealth?
I know. So because of COVID, people had to, we had to use more technology and be more. Actually, we had to be creative. So telehealth is another way of seeing the doctor without actually physically having to be at the building. So you can make an appointment online to talk to a doctor, and it's two things you could get through telehealth. I believe one is maybe the birth control, but it's certain ones. And I want to say that the other one is, don't quote me, let me check it out real quick. I want to say the other one that you could get through telehealth, maybe not STI, but UTI.
Okay.
If you're having a UTI issue.
Oh, okay. So, I've seen a lot of doctors going, like, even before COVID, just where you can talk to your doctor through the internet. You know what I mean? So you want to go into the office. That's really cool. And thank you for saying that about the services you all provide, because it's not a secret. Everybody thinks Planned Parenthood, all you all do is abort babies. And that just drives me nuts. And I just, literally, like you say, you can.
It's it's for people who may be underinsured or no insurance whatsoever. I remember using it years ago when I got kicked off my parents' insurance and didn't have any. I went there for services because I didn't know where else to go, and they treated me well. Oh, see, they treated me well. I was able to get my birth control, no problem. Actually, I was able to get mine for free. So it's more than just what we see in the news and what we see on TV. And
Absolutely.
You're right. It's unfortunate that a lot of people don't get to know that it's more than just that.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And like you said, they can go online to plannedparenthood.org.
Yes.
to get more details,
Yes.
because
Yes.
you all do more than just abortions. If I'm not mistaken, if I remember the statistics right, that's like minute compared to the other services that you all provide. And I didn't even know you
Absolutely.
all did vasectomies for men. That's news to me also. But
I
the
just
other
learned that
stuff,
last year. So
yeah, that's
yes.
awesome. I mean, because especially if you're married and you don't want any more children,
Yep.
yeah,
So it
that's good
shouldn't
to
always
know.
be on the say the other partner to get their tubes tied or whatever. Okay, well you can get fixed, sir.
Right.
Or the person who has a penis, you know what I'm saying? Now you can be the one being fixed and
Right.
not necessarily always quote unquote the woman
Right.
getting
Right.
fixed.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
So we were having a brief conversation, of course, before we started recording, but will you please talk about the importance of safe sex? Even though it's 2020, will you just talk about the
Yeah.
importance of safe sex?
So there's an article is out, and I'll make sure to send you the link so you can put it out there for people to read. That what they're saying now, and they being CDC and other folks who do this work, are fearing that the STIs are going to increase COVID. Because if you think about it, everybody was at home.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were at home with a partner, that's what you guys did besides eating, because I'm sure everybody was eating. We did a lot of
Yeah.
elbow bending,
Yeah.
more
And
than what
smile
we
more
wanted to
around
do.
face.
But there was a lot of, which is, and then the other thing is, you're silly. And the other thing is that people were having sex.
Yeah.
And the thing is that not everybody has signs and or symptoms. So you're not going to know if you have an STD
Mm-hmm.
unless, say, your partner comes back and says, hey, I didn't feel right. I went to the doctor and I found out I had blah, blah, blah STD.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you're in tune with your body and you know what your vagina or penis bodies do and don't do. If you're
Mm-hmm.
having a discharge and you're like, yeah, this don't seem right, you
Mm-hmm.
go to the doctor. Some people don't have signs or symptoms at all. So just getting tested is really important, especially in this day and age, because STDs haven't gone anywhere. They're not eradicated like polio, all these other vaccines. We
Right.
don't have vaccines for STDs,
Mm-hmm.
so it's important that if we're having sex with people, we need to be using protection,
Mm-hmm.
especially if this is a new partner, or even a partner that you've been with, like you and I were talking. If you've only been with that partner 6, 7, 8 months, condoms still need to be involved, or some type of barrier needs to be involved, because a person can have an STD for several months without knowing, and then if you're not using condoms anymore, and then you get up with it, then that person gets an STD, you're gonna be like, well, you was out here doing X, Y, and Z, and that may not be true. They could have had this STD before they even got to you.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? And a lot of
Uh-huh.
people sometimes don't get that when a person gets an STD, it may not be the very last person that they've had sex with. It could have been the person before that person. It all depends. So my previous life, I used to do what's called DIS, which is disease investigations. So I would have to do a lot of these things. And a lot of people would assume, oh, it was that last person I was with. And I'm like, may not be that last person, but we'll get them. Well, who was the person, 2 people before this last person?
Oh,
Because
wow.
it all depends. Are you guys having unprotected sex? When did you stop using condoms? All that plays a factor. No
Mm-hmm.
one is walking around with the STD stamped across their forehead.
Right. Right.
No one's wearing a shirt that says, I had gonorrhea 2 weeks ago or a month ago, or I just got diagnosed today. That's not how it works. And that's not
Mm-hmm.
what I've seen. I've always get people who come in after the fact. Oh my God, I just found out somebody I was with for 3 months has an STD, tested positive. Okay, so why did you guys stop? Did you guys ever use condoms? Well, in the beginning, and then we stopped. Why? Was that a conversation? And that's really important. I don't think a lot of people have conversations before the
Yeah.
decision is made to stop using any type of barrier.
Wow.
You know.
Wow. And that's it. And it is, I mean, I wanted to ask that question because, like I said, it's 2020. It's a lot of things that you think would not still be going on in 2020. They have
I
nothing to
know.
do with healthcare, but it's 2020, and people still are not educated when it comes to sex. People just think because this person is attractive and have a nice body, that means that
Mm.
that they don't have, they're not carrying anything, and that's not the case at all.
It could be short, tall, black, white, pink, purple, smell good, look good, nice job, no job. You don't know what these people have. You cannot tell by looking at anybody if they have an STD or HIV. You just can't.
Right.
And just to assume that you're not invincible. Two is we have to think about what are we doing for the possibility that I'm putting myself in this possible situation to get something. Having an STD is totally common. We get it because sometimes things happen. Mm-hmm. However, there are things that you can do to lower that possibility rate. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that could mean before you and your partner decide, okay, we don't want to use condoms, let's go get tested together. Let's find out our statuses first before we just say, okay, no condoms.
Yeah.
No, let's go get tested first. Let's have a conversation first. And then together, let's decide not to use condoms. So many times I've heard, and I don't want to just say young people, but I've heard my older adults too say, oh, well, we just stopped. And I'm like, who just stopped? Who decided that? Which is why I'm saying the conversation is really important to have, because if that other person is saying, well, I don't want to use it anymore, and you just say, okay, why? Why is that okay? Is it because it's in the heat of the moment, which I get things happen at the heat of the moment, and that condom just never comes into play, or it's too late for the condom to come into play. Okay, so let's have these conversations before it gets there. You know, and again, let's get tested. Let's know each other's statuses, and then decide together. Okay, well, if you want to use condoms or not, if and when. You know, so, but yes.
Thank you. I hear some interesting stories and I'm like, whoa. I know, I think we're going to give the link for this about like the whole HIV, like this STD stats in the heterosexual and the LGBTQ community. And will you tell me just what you said off camera about just how the CDC lumps everything together with the stats?
So when you look at stats, so if you go to cdc.gov, it'll have different fact sheets. Okay. So the gay, bisexual, and men or MSM are in a different category because unfortunately, Black MSMs are disproportionately affected by HIV. Not to say that white gay men aren't either, but young Black male MSMs are disproportionately affected at a higher rate than white males. So CDC is looking at that. So when you look at the information, they will break it down by gender. They'll break it down by race. They will break it down by mode of transmission. But you have to go deeper into some other stuff that they have. So you have to look further for it. But HIV, and I'm meaning HIV specifically, doesn't care what you look like, where you are. There's no ism that it doesn't, get into. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whether your class, your race, your sex, your age, gender, none of that. It just disproportionately affects certain groups of people than others. That's all.
Okay.
So they can break it down. It just, you have to dig further down into the data that they have. And like right now, they have some 2018 data, but like when it comes to like say STD rates, it'll say from 2014 because their data is always a little behind.
Oh, okay.
Well, because of course you got to gather the data and you know what I'm saying, and analyze and not. So it takes them a little longer because some people are like, why don't they have 2020 data just yet? Because that's not how it works.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and then if people, I'm using CDC.gov because then they'll have all the states, because I'm not sure who all listen to your podcast. I'm sure it's a range of people from all across the state. So if you go to cdc.gov, then they can track it. CDC will have a list of, I'm sure, all the different health departments that track specifically what's happening in the state. So if you go to cdc.gov, yes, and you, they should have it somewhere. I can't tell you where. Look like they've updated a little bit. They'll have a map You can
Okay.
click on your state, and then
Oh,
they can give you the numbers by state.
That's awesome. Yeah, no,
Yes.
I have people listening to me in the U.S. and I have some people listening to me out in other countries.
Yay.
I know.
Okay.
I'm so excited
Yes.
about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Love it. Got Black
I'm
girl
really,
magic sprinkling all over.
yes, I love it. When I saw that last week, I'm like, holy crap, somebody's listening to me in Europe and United Kingdom and some other places I never heard of before. But I'm just grateful, that people are
Mm-hmm.
able to listen and be educated further and just open their hearts and minds to other people's life experiences and all that kind of stuff. So I've gotten really good feedback so far about this podcast. So yeah, that's great information now that people can go to cdc.gov and just click on their state and get the most recent stats for their state. Perfect.
And I know for Missouri, the stats are always going to be, is it a year behind? It may be a year behind.
Okay.
So it may not be 2020, but it could be either 2018 or 2019.
Okay.
But then with COVID coming, I'm not sure if there's a lag.
It's still in everybody's spotlight right now.
Baby, it's snatching souls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's snatching souls. It's rearranging lives. It's rearranging schools. Everything.
Yeah. It literally is changing the world as we once knew it. It's very disturbing.
And I'm gonna send you I made a COVID-19 and sex hot sheet, because I want to make sure I'm not saying the other word, hot sheet tips thing, because even though we're still living in the world of COVID, you still have to be careful when it comes to sex, whom you're having sex with, because a lot of people assume, okay, well, some of the states are opening back up, I can go and do what I previously was doing or talking to whom, and that's not the case, because you don't know. COVID is like an STD. You don't know who has it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there are people who are walking around who are asymptomatic, which means they're not showing signs or symptoms, of COVID. And it's the same thing with an STD or HIV. You don't know. So I've got a little hot sheets tip of if you're having sex, make sure it's someone that you've been living with in the house, because, you guys been quarantining together and things like that. Using condoms, using lube. If you decide like, okay, I want to have sex with someone who's not in my household, like ways to, do that. So I'll make sure I share that with you too, because we have to make sure, just because COVID isn't over.
No.
It sounds like it's just getting started.
Yeah. Yeah.
In light of this second wave that's coming, when that comes, if it comes, we may be quarantining at home again. So I'll make sure to share that sheet, so that way other people can have, what you can do when it comes to sex and COVID.
Absolutely.
So we still got to wash our hands. We still need to be wearing masks. We still need to use hand sanitizer if we can't get to some warm soapy water, maintaining that social distance. That still needs to be in play too.
Oh my.
I know.
That is crazy.
That's a lot.
So the last thing that I have for you, I have inequality in healthcare needs. Do you have any knowledge on insurance companies and the lack of assistance with the transgender community?
So here in St. Louis, I know we have a transgender center that they work with the total person. So not just working on the parts that we want to change or the hormones, like that you get a psychiatrist. They work with everything, mind, body, and soul, to make sure that the choices that you're choosing, cool. Let's make sure we go through this list to make sure everything that you need, you have. I did share with you the transgender healthcare. I'm messing it up because I can't think of it right now. Equality roadmap. So for those who do have health insurance, they're supposed to help with, say, if someone wanted to get a change or get hormones, they're supposed to. So it's a link that I know you'll post to help people navigate through the healthcare system, depending on what health insurance they actually have, to help them navigate. And they do have assistance, so people can call, or I think they can go online or something like that.
Oh, wow.
have that assistance to help them with that. And then I have friends, but I haven't heard them having issues or problems with getting the hormones that they're needing in order to, if they're going to the next route, which is the body change. Just got to keep your appointments. That's all I've heard. You got to keep those doctor's appointments. That's it.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure how it is in other states though.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I've heard that that is a huge issue in the trans community with health insurance and just them not getting equality or
equal rights.
Yeah, pretty much when it comes to their healthcare needs. And
that's I think honestly is a universal problem. People of color, trans, Black people having quality healthcare and accessible healthcare is an issue. Regardless of what I need it for, what I want to do, we just don't have access.
Yeah. And I think some people really forget just because something doesn't, like if you are a person of color, you have a really good job, you have really good health insurance, and they don't know. And that doesn't mean, just because it's not affecting you personally, doesn't mean that that's not the case. Because that's another whole systemic problem, that needs to be addressed for people of color, Black people, even though I know we fall under the umbrella of people of color, but it just seems like we are always disproportionately affected by so many things of these systems that are set in place. And then, like for me personally, I'm wanting to educate myself more with the trans community because I'm not, I don't know, I know one person personally now after experiencing discrimination. I met somebody who's transgender, and the sweetest person I have ever met before in my life. And just some of the stuff that you hear people are going through, and it's just like my heart just aches for them. I'm like, that's not right. That's so not right.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
It really isn't, and it's not fair. You know what I mean? It's not fair for folks who want to get what they need but can't access it because it's not there.
Right.
You talked about systemic, and it's like, yeah, but then you also have to think about how can people get somewhere if the bus doesn't, so you got all these different factors.
Yeah.
Barriers, actually, in order for someone to get healthcare.
Yeah. It's so sad.
It's hard. It is. It is. It is. Even if you say, you're right, even if you do have good healthcare.
Yeah, that's not the case for everybody. Yeah. Nope. You're lucky. Lucky. So a lot of people that don't, and then that guess where they can go if they don't have good quality healthcare. If they don't have healthcare at all, they can come to Planned Parenthood.
They can come to Planned Parenthood.
Just saying. Yes, see how they came back around in full circle. Oh,
full circle.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, Kamina, it has been a pleasure speaking with you. I hope I haven't been driving you all crazy reaching out.
Oh no, totally fine.
I've been so excited just to talk to you guys, especially for you all to talk about what the services is that you all provide, because ignorance is bliss, and we all have access to the internet in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So literally you could just look it up.
Instead of calling, they can go online to do it. They can book their appointment online. If they're having an STD issue, you can do that online. Appointments usually are like the next day. Here in St. Louis, I don't know how it is anywhere else. I'm assuming it could be the same all over. But yes, book appointments online. You could see a doctor online for certain things. We're here to help. Our doors are open.
That is
so all are welcome. All are welcome, because we're all in this together.
Yes, we are.
For real, seriously.
We really
we're
are.
all in this together. Condoms, if you need it, we got those. There are places that we have condoms in our community out too. So if you don't necessarily need to come to Planned Parenthood, but you need some condoms, it's a couple of bars downtown in St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
You can get condoms from. You can visit all the Planned Parenthoods, because not only does our Planned Parenthood do the St. Louis region, we also cover Southwest Missouri. So down in Southwest Missouri, there's a Planned Parenthood. So for folks who are needing some services, there's one down there too. We're here.
Wow.
Yep.
You are awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out your day to speak to me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope this helps with people knowing more about condoms, where they can go for healthcare, HIV stats. Planned Parenthood has some really good, if you go on the website, some really good tools, some really good information, like everything, different birth controls. We have several videos out on our YouTube channel. So,
oh, wow. Oh, y'all
you can follow us on social media. Yes. Thursdays, I'm usually at 4:00 St. Louis time, Central Time. I'm broadcasting Facebook Live to do Sex Ed Thursdays.
Nice.
So for the month of June, because it was LGBTQ Awareness Month, for Pride Month, we were doing a series every Thursday at 4:00.
Oh, wow. I'll make sure I tune. Well, this Thursday will be July, but still I'll tune in.
I don't know what I'm going to talk about this Thursday, though. I haven't figured it out just yet. But yeah, it's usually, I think we were going to start doing the second and fourth Thursdays of the month, or the first and third. I forgot. I'm going to have to email you back, because I was like, no, for June, I'm going to do the whole month. Every Thursday, because it's Pride Month. Like, no, even though Pride didn't happen because of COVID, everything got pushed back a couple of months.
I know.
So crazy, right? I know.
Yeah.
It's a mess, but so that's what we're doing too. We're trying to make sure that we're here for folks. People can get information, whatever it is that they need. We want to let people know that we're here.
That is awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us and emailing us. You need a song for another time, let us know.
Yes, ma'am. I sure would. I don't have a problem reaching out to people asking questions.
Okay. We're here.
Thank you so much, Kamina. You have a wonderful day, okay?
You too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So I am really grateful that I had a chance to speak with Kamina with Planned Parenthood for so many different reasons. One reason is that she was able to talk about more in depth of the services that Planned Parenthood offers, which I really appreciate, because a lot of people are misinformed when it comes to their services. And I don't know if that's just from them watching the news all the time or what, but they offer so many services to people, no matter the umbrella that you identify as. So thank you again, Kamina, for taking time out your day to have this conversation with me and my listeners. Also, one of the websites that Kamina mentioned a couple of times throughout the podcast, if you're wanting to get the STD stats in your state, here in the United States of America, you can visit cdc.gov/STD. And as you guys go about your day, please know that you are loved, you are supported, you are enough, and you are worthy. Take care. Thanks for joining us on Under the Umbrella podcast. Check us out on Instagram at UT Umbrella, on Facebook at 1UT Umbrella. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Under the Umbrella, and visit our website at utumbrella.com. As always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode, and leave a review so we can continue to bring you fresh content. If you had a question to submit for the Ask Angel segment, please submit to contact@utumbrella.com. See you next week.